Hello everyone, this is G and I'm back with another video. Not exactly how I thought I would come back, and not exactly under the best of terms, because I'm a lot pissed off. This video is dedicated to one David Jaffe. David Scott Jaffe or Jaffe, I don't know how you say his name, but I frankly don't really care. See, he's done something very, very, very dumb. He has pissed me off. And since he wants to act like a tough guy, a bad boy online, well, I'm going to give him what, 4. Since apparently he likes to make claims but then actually not prove them. Beyond going, look at that guy! Look at the quartering! He's all the proof you need! As if I'm supposed to give a damn what Jeremy Hambley thinks. No offense to him. I've got nothing against him. I'm just indifferent. More importantly, I'm not an attack dog. Yeah, I don't go where someone leads me. I'm not a gun. I don't go where someone points and fires. You make a claim, you should be able to prove it, especially in a public forum like Twitter. But since David wants to get all smart mouthed, well, he's about to run into my very bad New York attitude. Right, so let's cover this first, because this is sort of the tweet that sort of kicked it off here, right? Which I actually did respond to online, pointing out that people relate, in particular women, I believe, relate to Scarlet Witch because her madness is driven by her love of her family, right? But what David says here, and this was a Bounty into comics article, right? And I'm not going to cover the whole thing because it isn't really about their reporting. It's about me and David. Since David wants to get in my face, I'm going to get in his face. But this is like the first tweet of his that I've come across in a while I responded to. So he says here, they hate Black Widow, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, and Captain Marvel, aka strong women who don't pine for male approval. First of all, you probably haven't read the comics, in particular to She-Hulk and Captain Marvel, the former Miss Marvel. And even the current Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, has had at least an almost love interest in that Jewish best friend of hers, the Jewish boy. And I think there was one dude with like a red cape or whatever, a fellow Muslim hero that she kind of had a crush on. So there goes the whole don't pine for male approval thing, right? But he says they love Scarlet Witch, a woman who literally destroys universes because she can't have the man she loves. Yeah, women will go to very, very, very crazy deaths for the men and for the people that they love. And sometimes that can drive a woman to madness. Yeah, it's the destructive element, right, of love, right? It's the shadow, it's the dark side of love. It can be passionate and it can drive you to very wonderful things, but it can also be very dark and be very destructive. Kind of like people, right? But this is sort of how we started sort of interacting with each other. So, right, and again, I made a post to him, which I'll link to. Hey, RJ. Um, Pretty much telling him, hey, people related to Widow because of her love for her family. Okay, fine. He then goes on for this, right? So Bounding in the Comics makes a video, makes an article about him because of course they do. That's what they do, right? They always make articles about people. And he says, hating on those specific movies does not make you a misogynist. Except you were just saying that hating on those characters is driven by misogyny, David. Again, let's look at the tweet. Right? The tweet specifically says they hate Black Widow, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, and Captain Marvel. Strong women who don't pine for male approval. So you're already saying that people don't like them because of this, and then you say at the end it's misogyny and it's gross. So yeah, you actually are saying that disliking these characters is an act of misogyny, not actually knowing what misogyny is. If the worst thing women had to worry about when it came to sincere misogyny was people not liking some leads in superhero TV shows and movies, we would have been a lot better off decades ago, where we couldn't even be respected in our workplaces, where men used to smack us on the ass, right, because they felt entitled to it. That's misogyny, right? Thinking that the Black Widow film could have been better or should have come out earlier before the character was killed in Endgame, or disliking the She-Hulk show because it's not flippin' She-Hulk. Anybody who's read She-Hulk, in particular classic She-Hulk, would know this, right? And disliking Captain Marvel, right? Because, oh, I don't know, they chose the wrong actress. Brie Larson has a way of irritating people. Like, I don't see where the misogyny is here. I didn't like Captain Marvel. I don't like Captain Marvel in the comics or the film because I believe it's a portrayal of the character. Are you going to call me a misogynist, David? Because I simply don't like creative decisions made with characters I actually used to like, in particular She-Hulk and Captain Marvel. Is a woman's opinion misogyny if she dare disagree with the great David Jaffe? But anyway, he says here, going back to this, hating those specific movies does not make you misogynist, racist, loudly and constantly hating. So constantly talking about it. So disliking it now is not actually the problem. Making your dislike known, expressing your opinion. Oh no, there's the act of misogyny. I have been engaging in misogyny all this time by making my critical opinions about stuff I used to be very invested in known. Oh my days, I had no idea I was a traitor to my sex. Fool. Right, but hating on those specific female-led movies, but staying mostly quiet on equally bad male-led movies makes you misogynist. And you're proof, David. You're proof, David. Shang-Chi got panned by many people, right? Many people didn't like that movie. I didn't see the movie, but I can tell you that Simu Liu has not made a good impression on me from what I've seen of him online. He tends to be a jackass. Maybe you two should talk. Maybe he can give you pointers. I don't know. Right? But people, Thor, in the latest Thor film, Love and Thunder, didn't get a great reception. A lot of folks were sort of, on the middle with that. Right? So again, like, which ones? Eternals didn't do well. It underperformed for Disney standards. That had a lot of male leads. So again, like, which ones? You never cite a source. You never name a film. You never actually try to prove what you say here. You're just upset that people who you assume are all men, I'm not a man, David, right, are just misogynist. You don't actually want to hear what they say. You just don't like the fact that it's negative, so it's easier to just say, oh, it's misogyny and it's gross, than to actually try to understand what someone is saying, even if you disagree with what they are saying. You don't want to give them the benefit of the doubt. You just want them to shut up. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to see it, right? You even put in these big old letters, loudly and constantly. So you don't like the fact that people, male and female, black and white and Asian and everything else, are actually making their critical opinions on stuff that I'm assuming you like known. You don't like the fact that your waifus are being criticized, and so you're acting like a child, is basically it, right? So I said to him, and do you have proof that critics were silent on poorly done male-led films? If that's your argument, I assume you can prove it, correct? And then David, and here's where you and I start to have a conflict, because your response, right, when I asked for proof, is go to the Quarterings page and compare his huge number of videos slamming female leads. Poorly received geek properties, and now look for similar videos of him doing the same thing with poorly received geek male-led properties. You won't find them. Sir, as I said in my response to you, I am not a gun. I'm not a bullet. I don't go where you tell me to. That's not proof. Citing one man, and you said yourself, to me, in tweets, that you cited the quartering because he's a big anti-SJW YouTuber, as if I'm supposed to give a damn about him being a big YouTuber or whatever. I don't care about the man's opinion. I told you that. I don't care about his opinions. I care about proof. You provide no links. You provide no sources. You don't even provide a doctored flippin' image of anything. You don't provide quotes. You don't provide timestamps. You don't provide a damn thing he's ever said. You want me to go and watch, what? How many videos? How many videos am I supposed to look at? 1, 3, 10, 30, 100? How many, David? You are supposed to prove the argument to me. You're the one making this claim, right? You're the one making the claim, and I asked you to prove it, and your response is, go to the quartering. Go to the quartering. No. Prove your claim. You bring evidence to me. I do not go searching for it. I am not your bloodhound. Okay? I am not a dog. I am not a trained attack dog. I'm not going to help you make your own argument. Either you make your argument or you don't. But don't tell me where to go. You bring the evidence to me. Even in my literal job, when people have a problem and they come to my office, we ask them for evidence. They bring us the evidence. Pictures, emails, testimonies, whatever it might be. You don't tell us to go searching. You bring it here. You bring it to me. I'm the one requesting it. I'm not going to go find it for you, David. That's your job. And then, what Jonathan says here, and he's correct, I think what she really meant was, where's the receipts? As I said here, that's exactly what I meant, right? And I said here, I don't care what the quartering thinks. David made a claim and he's yet to prove it. So then, David, you respond with, and I asked you again, what sort of proof would satisfy you so I can procure it? David. That's not how this works. I am not going to tell you what it takes to convince me of something. What's the point then? I'm not going to direct you to another YouTuber or to another content creator or another Twitter account or whatever and say, oh, go here. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to tell you where to go to convince me. It's your job to make a convincing argument, which you haven't done. In none of your tweets and none of your responses to me did you ever actually make an argument to prove what you were saying, David. Your response was literally, look at that person. They're doing the wrong thing, with no proof that Hambly's videos or anybody else's videos, Hambly's the only person that you cited the quartering, is wrong. What? Am I supposed to be offended, David, that the quartering doesn't like She-Hulk or Captain Marvel or whatever else? Oh my days! A white man doesn't like a movie. Ah! Oh my God! The world is falling apart because Jeremy Hambly is critical of Marvel movies. I had no idea that was the beginning of Armageddon. I thought it would be dragons and prostitutes in the street and, seven-headed hydras and all that. No, it's actually, according to you, Jeremy Hambly not liking Marvel films. Thanks, David. And then, as Sauron says here, right? He says here, show the video, she's not asking you to find the Holy Grail, right? And then, yeah, I'll admit, I took a little dig here. But it's true, because you didn't prove anything. Then, David, you decide to pop in with, you guys really don't want to chat in good faith, do you? Sir, what good faith? What good faith? There is no faith here. You've been a flat-out atheist. You have not argued in good faith, bad faith, or anything else. The moment you are asked, the moment you are challenged, your response is, go look at that guy. That guy is the bad guy. without providing me any proof of what Hambly supposedly did so wrong or said so wrong, you don't want to actually try to convince me. I don't know what you think, but it seems to be that, oh, if I just point at this guy, she'll believe it. No, that's not how this works. Right? And so what he says here is, you guys really don't want to chat in good faith. I literally said, tell me the kind of proof that would be convincing to you. This ain't a chat anymore, David. It's an argument. You made it an argument when you refused to answer the question. It ain't on me. It's not on Sauron. It's not on anybody else to provide the proof to do the legwork for you. Either make an argument or don't. Either continue the conversation or not. But you don't get to turn it back on me or those who happen to agree with me or follow me because we're asking for receipts and you're not providing them. Right, and then they said, what kind of proof would be convincing for you? Again, I'm not going to tell you how to convince me. That's like giving you the answer sheet for a test. I'm not going to tell you how to win me over. That is your job to figure out. You know, the art of persuasion is to take an argument and to, try to convince someone, right? Not to literally ask them, what would make you happy? What do I have to say to convince you? No, that's not how this works. You take a topic, you study the topic, you provide proof of your argument, and you argue. You try to prove that what you say is true. You try to persuade people to at least consider your point of view. Then again, your point of view simply seems to be if you have negative opinions about MCU shows or films that star women, regardless of your reasons why, if you make them loud and you constantly talk about them, you basically express yourself in public, well then you're a misogynist. Well then, David, I guess I am a self-hating woman. I guess according to you, I am a misogynist because I dare to have an opinion that is not popular, and I do make a habit on Twitter of sharing that opinion and expressing it because, Twitter is this thing called a public forum. You can like it, you can dislike it, but that's what it is. But apparently, according to your own tweets, I would be a misogynist. You don't know jack about me or how I feel about women. But apparently, because I don't like MCU She-Hulk or MCU Captain Marvel or comics Captain Marvel because they ruined the character, thanks Kelly Sue DeConnick, or Miss Marvel, who I actually don't dislike. I just think she just has very poor stories and very bad writing that don't allow her to develop. But yeah, I'm a misogynist because I dare have critical opinions of creative decisions made about stuff I used to have an interest in. Oh my. Right, so it says here, I will go see, and I will go see if I can find it. That's it, yeah. I can just put you on a path. No, Dave, that's not how this works. I offered up proof that would compel me to rethink things. What proof? Your proof still is the quartering. As if that's supposed to what? Convince me? Change my mind? No. But you didn't want that fair, so guide me a bit. I'm not guiding you anywhere. I'm not guiding you to a damn thing. I'm not a seeing eye dog. I don't guide people. I am no teacher. I am no seeing eye dog. You will not find guidance here. And then so Sauron pops in. We aren't your slaves. I'll admit, that is going a bit hard. He's like, you made a claim and showed nothing to back it up. That's true. It doesn't matter what kind of proof folks want to see when you aren't providing any at all. Exactly, Sauron. I do think the whole slaves thing was going in a bit too hard, but the rest of it is absolutely correct. And then David, you pop in because your very infantile temper boils over. Your inner teenager who's upset that his waifus are being criticized boils over, and you respond with, Oh, shut the fuck up. We're done. I offered proof. No, you didn't. Pointing me at the quartering like I'm an attack dog is not proof. It's a cop-out. She said she wasn't the kind of proof she wanted. No, I simply said it wasn't proof because I don't give a damn what the quartering thinks. It isn't about proof I want, it's about the proof you can provide, which thus far is none. Your best proof was check out this dude's videos and compare, without giving me any reason to even do that much. Again, no quote, no link, no tweets, not even tweets from Hambly. I know he's on Twitter. I've seen people tweet and retweet him and agree with him and insult him and everything else. You didn't even do that much. You literally just tell me, oh, that dude, with no proof whatsoever as to why I should actually follow up on any damn thing you say. And that was the only thing of value you said. Right? And then you say, I asked her the kind of proof she wanted, and now you come back with this. Shut up, you useless zero. Whatever the hell that means. You clearly don't want to discuss this by. What discussion, David? What discussion? There's been no discussion here. You haven't discussed anything with anyone. You sure as hell haven't discussed anything with me. You didn't discuss anything. You did everything you could to avoid a discussion. And now you want to get angry when someone tells you off. Grow up. And then as Rogaru 1776 pops in saying, it's not proof, it's an assertion. Exactly. Go look at his videos, basically telling folks to Google it. Exactly. Do the legwork for me. Educate yourself. As if having a critical opinion means that you don't know what you're talking about. Usually means that you actually know a pretty damn lot about what you're talking about. That's why you disagree with the other person. Because you know enough to have a different viewpoint. But I guess everybody's mind melts on Twitter. Right? And then Rogaru pops back in saying, that's not how the burden of proof works. You make the assertion, you provide the evidence. Exactly. And here is the evidence, live and in color and in video, that David Jaffe doesn't know how to have a conversation. And David Jaffe doesn't know how to actually make a convincing argument. All he knows how to do is complain. All he knows how to do is swear at people. All he knows how to do is point in another direction and go, he went that way, and try to misdirect without actually addressing a person, addressing someone saying, hey, where is your proof of this supposed misogyny? David Jaffe doesn't know how to have a conversation because David Jaffe is caught up in his feelings. David Jaffe is a 14-year-old trapped in an older man's body who is upset that his superhero waifus are not well received. And they're not well received oftentimes because they're not well written most of the time. They do cringeworthy things like twerking in an instance where twerking makes no sense. The actresses, or the people behind the TV show, often go on the attack on critical fans online and antagonize them. And most of these shows end up getting 1 or 2 seasons at best because regardless of whatever chit-chat is going on Twitter, as I've always said, there's always a silent majority who vote with their wallet, who vote with their time, who instead of being foolish like me and making their thoughts known, they simply go, I'm not going to watch this. Or they see 1 or 2 episodes and they go, I'm not interested. It's not for me. Guess what, David? I wanted to like She-Hulk. This may surprise you since apparently I'm a raging misogynist. But I wanted to like She-Hulk because I'm a big She-Hulk fan of the old school comics. The show, from everything I've seen, it's not the She-Hulk I want to read about, let alone sit down and watch in real time. I wanted to like Captain Marvel. I'm a big Carol Danvers fan from the old days. They created a character I cannot be a fan of. It's that simple. I didn't walk away from comics. I didn't walk away from these female heroes that you claim being openly critical of as an act of misogyny. Comics left me. Writers took these characters I liked and made them unrecognizable, made them unlikable, made them insufferable. Okay? I didn't leave the medium. I didn't abandon the character. The medium left me. The writers insulted me. The characters were written in a way that I cannot, in good conscience, keep reading or supporting. So I walked away. As much as I did not want to initially, I walked away. Because obviously, fans like myself, loud, critical, intelligent, knowledgeable, ready, willing, and able to call out BS wherever they see it, are not wanted. Fans who keep the work honest, with their honest opinions, good and bad, are not wanted. And apparently, you don't want to grow up. But anyway, that's the video. I'm done talking about you. You are no longer worth any more of my time. Have a good night, David. To the rest of the audience, have a good night. Have a good day. I'm still dealing with life, so I wouldn't necessarily call this a return to regular videos, but you know what? I had a little bit of time, feeling a little bit ornery, and I felt that this was a better way to respond than to keep going back and forth on Twitter. So yeah, this is my last message, right? To quote Sniper Wolf, one of my favorite characters from Metal Gear Solid, right? This is a love letter, my dear, right? It's a video straight from my computer to your heart. Hope you enjoy it. More importantly, David, I hope you learned something from it. Anyway, that's the vid. Have a good day night wherever you are.